Hi beautiful soul, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Emily, also known as Emily the Mystic, and in today's video we're going to be having a conversation all about inner child healing. Inner child healing is a really instrumental part of the work that I do with my clients because it can create real physical change in your life, and it can help you to develop into who you are as your authentic self. And so I think it's so important that we have a conversation about it and I can share my perspective with you on this incredible work and how it can help you in your life. So we're going to dive into the background behind inner child healing, why it's so important, how it can help you, and then I'll share some real actionable tips and takeaways of how you can start implementing inner child healing in your life today, immediately following this video. So without further ado, let's dive on in. So, before we even get into it, I have to share a quick disclaimer. First of all, I am not a licensed therapist. I am a trauma-informed Akashic Records Master Consultant. And through that process of my training, which is basically like receiving a PhD in the Akashic Records, I learned how to analyze my clients for different types of trauma energetics in how they may have experienced trauma in their life growing up as a child, the different stages of psychosocial development in children, and how those stages can create different types of beliefs that do become ingrained in our subconscious minds and play out in our behavior and patterning and actions that we take or do not take in our lives as adults. So that's the first disclaimer. I'm not a licensed therapist, but I do know a little bit about this from my background in my Akashic Records training. The other disclaimer that I want to give is that I do not teach and I do not believe that we create extreme traumatic circumstances in our life based on our decisions and choices. There are some New Age philosophies and theories that will teach you that you are the creator of your own reality throughout all aspects, including extreme traumatic circumstances, such as abuse, such as oppression, marginalization of different groups. However, I do not believe that to be true. I personally believe that some situations are out of our control, and that the behavior and abuse of some people is completely out of our control. So in this video, I'm not here to teach you that you attracted and created an abusive situation for yourself. That's not what this video is about. But what it is about is discovering how those dynamics may have affected you in childhood so that you can, if you're ready to, begin to heal them so that you can move forward in your life and become more of your authentic self. So the other thing I want to say is that if inner child healing at any point begins to feel heavy, uncomfortable, or difficult for you, or if you feel blocked and unable to access some of the tips and tricks I'm going to give to you, you definitely want to work with someone who is educated in this field of work, who knows what they're doing. So whether that be a licensed therapist, an EMDR specialist, a trauma therapist, or someone like me who is actively involved in being a trauma-informed coach of some kind, I really encourage you to reach out to someone to support you in this work because it can bring up a lot, it can unblock a lot, and you may find yourself feeling like you need extra support with what is coming up for you. So definitely make sure that you reach out to the appropriate person for you, and you know where to find me. I have all of the links in my bio on this YouTube channel, so you can absolutely schedule an appointment with me if you feel called to do so. So the background for inner child healing, why is this so important? So as we grow up, truly our belief systems, our beliefs about ourselves, our environment, the world around us, are created from the ages of 0 to 7. We do continue to create beliefs about ourselves until our teenage years, but between 0 to 7, that's pretty much when we set in stone our belief systems and what we believe about our environment and about ourselves as well. Our ego is also developing during childhood, and the ego, which is your mind, your mental state, your mental point of view, it is your identity, it is the construct, the level of consciousness that reminds you of who you are. In this lifetime specifically, the ego is developing. The ego helps to keep us safe during childhood. And as the ego is developing during our childhood, our little versions of ourselves, children think in absolutes. So children view everything from the perspective of the world revolves around me, I'm the center of everything. Children can only think in absolutes. So what that means is that when a situation happens to a child, such as they get scolded for something, or they don't feel like mom or dad are showing them love in any way, they begin to believe that they inherently are the problem, the issue. They believe that they are the result of doing something wrong. So children are not able to see that there are other dynamics and situations at play, that mom and dad have their own set of belief systems going on, that mom and dad are teaching and sharing based on their experiences of the world, what they know to be true with the child, and the child is not able to see that. So children inherit belief systems based on their perception of the world, which is based in ego and in absolutes. So because of that, children are not able to see above and beyond what is really going on and what is really at play. And all of those belief systems get stored in the unconscious and subconscious mind. So these belief systems, I also personally believe, not only do they get stored in our subconscious mind as neural pathways, but I believe that they get stored as energetics within our energy body. So they get stored as energy, as heavy energies within our energy body. And all of this begins to kind of add up and add up and add up into our system. And when we are so full of some of these heavy belief systems that we've created throughout our childhood, it can be really hard to function as a normal, highly functioning adult. Of course, we're also creating positive beliefs and positive viewpoints about ourselves and our world. And of course, I have to say too that none of this information is to blame anybody in your family. It's not to blame your mom or your dad for imprinting you with these heavy belief systems about yourself. I don't mean that at all. But it's just to take another look at it and realize, mom and dad had a lot of things going on, and I am ready as a fully functioning adult to want to create my own belief system. So I want to rewrite those original belief systems that I created within myself when I was at an age where I saw things in the form of absolutes and I wasn't able to take on information in the way that an adult would. So now you are as an adult, you are a sovereign being, and you have the ability to be able to create new belief systems for yourself, which is what inner child healing is all about. So when these belief systems get imprinted in our subconscious mind at an early age, between those ages of 0 to 7, we create neural pathways through these learned experiences, and those neural pathways create our behaviors and our actions. And through that, we begin to create our whole lifestyle. We begin to see things from that perspective of those belief systems that were imprinted on at a very early age. And we continue to see those belief systems project into our reality. So because of all of this, and through the practices of neuroplasticity and creating new neural pathways, which we know from popular psychology, we can actually rewrite, reheal, and change and shift our inner belief systems and our subconscious belief systems, which is amazing. Inner child healing is also a really incredible way for us to revisit and get to know our most authentic self, meaning who we were when we first came into this world as a whole worthy person. Because we came into this world a beautiful divine creation of God, of Source, with nothing wrong about us, but through our experiences and the projections and imprinted beliefs that we received from our parents and our caregivers, all of a sudden we begin to see the world in a totally different way. So connecting and communing with your inner child is an incredible way for you to get to know your most authentic self better before all of the imprintations from society, from your parents, and so forth. I also have to say, too, that inner child healing does not mean that you need to revisit traumatic situations and relive them. If that is going to be a part of your path, you may definitely need to work with a licensed trauma therapist, an EMDR specialist, a somatic therapist, somebody who excels in and is trained in helping you to revisit traumatic situations. But that doesn't need to be your path. You can also heal, release, and change belief systems in other ways that don't involve you needing to fully revisit, re-see, and re-experience the traumatic situations that you've been through. I also do want to say a word on trauma as well, because trauma is such a big word, and we can often believe that trauma has to mean that somebody has gone through such a horrible situation or circumstance that is so extraordinary, and I didn't go through trauma because there are people in this world who have been through such extreme circumstances. I personally believe as a healer that trauma is in ratio and relative to your sensitivity as a human being. So if you are an extremely sensitive being, which if you're watching this video, most likely you are, if you're very empathic, if you really sense the feelings, emotions, and energies of people around you, if you pick up on things, trauma is also going to include all of those quote-unquote smaller situations that you went through in life where people expressed their opinions and beliefs that you took on in a negative way. So trauma can include forms of emotional abuse. It can include forms of teasing, bullying, any time when someone is putting you down. It can include traumatic situations where things went out of control, or when things were really, you went through really extreme circumstances. I mean, that is not an all-inclusive list. Those are just the first things that are coming to mind. But trauma can also include some of those, I don't want to say smaller, but some of those situations where somebody could have said one offhanded comment, and that was traumatic for you based on your level of sensitivity. So not all trauma is equal. And also, we can't place trauma on a hierarchy because we are all different. We are all different beings with different needs. And the inner child healing that I'm going to introduce to you today is going to help you to revisit with your inner child, to get to know them better, to begin to learn who they are from the perspective of who you are now, so that you can help them receive what they need, so that you can help to get to know them, so that they can feel seen and heard, and so that you can make a commitment to them that they will always be safe. Because to me, truly, the root of why inner child healing is so important is because it impacts that level 1 Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that number 1 level, which is safety. Once your inner child can feel safe, that is when you can truly take off in your life. That is when you can truly begin to move into deeper levels of self-worth. You can manifest whatever you desire. You can attract more things. It's truly creating that level of safety within yourself. That is when you can really create whatever you want to create in this lifetime. So inner child healing helps you to find out what those imprinted beliefs are that you're holding on to. It helps you to discover what your inner child needs, what needs were not met based on that belief. And it helps you reframe, revisit, and reestablish a new belief so that you can move forward in your life in a different way. So here's an example. Let's say that you grew up in a household where you were punished in some way for making mistakes. You were made wrong for saying or doing the wrong thing. Perhaps you had things taken away from you for making mistakes, like you had to go to your room and you all of your video game privileges were taken away because you didn't get a good grade on a test, or because you made a mistake and you spoke out of turn, or you got a detention from the teacher. So let's say you grew up in a household where you were punished for making mistakes. When that belief system is created, it imprints in the subconscious mind at a root level as, I am not good enough. I am not good enough because I am easily punished for making mistakes. So, in reality, how that transfers into adulthood, you end up, as an adult, desperately fearing failure in your life because you are unconsciously fearing being punished for your mistakes, and you do not believe that you are good enough to achieve what you want to achieve and to be successful. So when that belief is running the show, because our subconscious mind is running the show from behind the scenes, you may not take the needed necessary action in your life to achieve your dreams because you desperately are fearing failure. You fear that punishment, that some privileges taken away, or even a slap on the face, or whatever it is waiting from behind the scenes for you making a mistake and for saying or doing the wrong thing. And so you're not able to get to where you want to get in life because of that. And of course, that's, very distilled example. There are probably going to be other dynamics at play, especially if this example, perhaps this is sounding familiar to you and you're not exactly where you want to be. There may be and will be other dynamics that are going on there, but this is just to give you an idea of how imprinted beliefs can show up in a very real, very tangible, very physical way in your life. So now you can see how inner child healing is so important, why it can help you, because once you get to the root of where your imprinted beliefs are coming from and what they are and how they're affecting you in your reality, then you can heal them, release the energy and emotions around them, and then you can create a new belief system for yourself, and you can move forward and make and take different actions in your life. So we're going to start inner child healing today, right now, in this moment, with just a very brief exercise for you to do following this video. So this is going to be in the form of a meditation. So what I want you to do, if you feel called to do this little inner child exercise, is to get in a really comfy, safe space. I want you to be in a place where you won't be disturbed, where you have pillows around you, and you're lighting a candle and you feel really comfortable and really safe. Perhaps you have a blanket on you. I want you to get really cozy. Once you feel comfortable and safe, maybe closing the door or telling people not to disturb you, I want you to begin to relax into your body. So you may want to take a few deep breaths, just fully relaxing into your body and into the space. You can begin to close your eyes. And for a few minutes, I just want you to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Let's say for about 10 rounds of breath. And once you begin to feel comfortable and safe, I want you, with your eyes closed, to invite forward your inner child and see how he, she, or they shows up. Now, I don't want to give you a specific age to invite forward because I want to see how your inner child is going to come forward for you in the way that they want to come forward. They may come forward as a toddler, or perhaps as a young school-age child, or even as a teenager, depending on what you need in that moment. So invite forward your inner child, and then I want you first to just take a look and see how they are appearing to you. So you may want to notice what they're wearing, and then also notice what is going on with them emotionally, without even asking, just noticing. Do they seem sad? Do they seem disconnected? Do they seem angry? Do they even want to talk to you in the first place? And just noticing their reactions and how they show up. They may even be really, really happy to see you, and if that's the case, then that's even better. But just noticing. And then I want you to ask them, how are you? How are you feeling today? And see what you receive. And then I want you to ask them, what's going on in your life? And that will give you a good idea of what age this child is going through and what their experiences look like, what's going on in your life. And then I want you to ask them, what do you need at this moment? And then I want you to ask, what would help you to feel better? And if they're already feeling good, I still want you to ask, what would help you to feel even happier? And then I want you to ask, what can I do to help you? And how can I help you to feel safe? And once you have asked those questions, you may want to get to know your inner child even more. You could ask something like, those are the main questions that I want you to get to, but you may also feel called to ask, what do you love in life? What are your favorite things? What do you enjoy playing with? How do you have fun? Because that may help you to connect to your inner child who likes to relax and have fun and play even more so. And then once you finish the meditation and you've discussed with your inner child what they need, how they can help you, I want you to visualize while you're still with them, I want you to visualize yourself giving them something. So this could be an expression of the thing that they need, such as if they say, I need love, you could give them a hug and a kiss. If they say that they need playtime, you could play with them or give them a toy. Or if you just feel called to give them something that feels special to you, you can also do that as well. But I want you to give them a gift. I want you to give them something. And then I want you to visualize your inner child going back into your heart space. So I want you to just kind of see them going back into your heart. And then you can move on from the meditation. And before you move on with your day, I also encourage you to just take for a moment to feel into how your inner child could be impacting your life in this moment, especially if you are working towards a specific goal or something that you want to manifest. Ask yourself, how is the inner child that showed up today in this meditation, how are they impacting my path forward? Because if, for example, let's say your inner child shows up, and we're using she as the example here. Let's say she shows up and she's really sad because mom and dad are so busy and they don't have the time for her. And all she wants is just love and a hug and to sit on the couch and watch a movie with you and to feel loved. And so you give her that love, you spend that time with her, you make her feel seen. And then you leave the meditation, you think to yourself, oh, yeah, I've been trying to attract my life partner for a long time, and I can see that my inner child didn't receive that love from mom and dad growing up that she needed. So I can see now how I don't believe that I'm worthy and deserving of that love in my life as of this moment. So I want you to try to connect the dots from the inner child that you communicated with to what's going on in your life and what you feel blocked from, what you feel like you can't have, what's not coming in for you, what you're not manifesting, because there's definitely a link there, and this will help you to connect the dots. And then from there, if you feel called to take your inner child healing deeper, this is a big topic in the spiritual space. Of course, I would love to work with you on this. Again, it's something that I do with my clients, and I have techniques and strategies for how we invite your inner child forward and how we do some unconscious and subconscious healing work to rewrite those belief systems and to create and imprint new ones. But I also encourage you to find and set the intention to find the therapist, the EMDR specialist, the somatic healer to support you in this, whoever you feel like you need, or to find the resources. Perhaps that's a book, a podcast on this topic so that you can learn more about it and you can involve and deepen this work for yourself, because I guarantee you the more inner child healing work that I do for myself, the better the results are that I see in my reality. So I'm sending you so much love and light for this journey, wishing you so much fun and light inner child healing, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.